Hello everyone, this is Logan, and today I'm going to be doing a review of iOS 7. Now this is the GM or Gold Master version of iOS 7, but it is pretty much all the same, just feeded a bit earlier to developers. So as you can see on my left, I have Air Server being mirrored to my computer via Air Server, and in my hand I have the device. This is an iPod Touch 5th generation. Now, this will be split up into two parts. The first part will go over some of the, bigger features of iOS 7, and part 2 will kind of go over some of the lesser known features that are still technically worth mentioning. So, let's start off with part 1. So, let's take a look at the lock screen first of all. You can now, as you can see, I can slide anywhere to unlock. And that might seem like kind of a minor feature, and I know a few people who actually don't like this feature for some reason. I personally like it, and let me tell you why. I like to go to the track a lot, okay, for example. Do a little bit of like lower body workout. So I like to go to the track, and I like to slide to unlock my device without really even thinking about it. And now I can, kind of, sort of do that. And, it's all pretty easy. Or, it doesn't even have to be track. It can be pretty much anything. Any just time where you want to unlock your device without even thinking about it. Or, maybe you just want to, like, quick check an email. Or, do something like that. Pull down your notifications or something like that. You can do that. And speaking of notifications, they are now available on the lock screen, and as you can see, they are broken up into 3 categories. The All View, which is all of your notifications, your Missed View, which is your missed notifications, pretty self-explanatory, and your Today View. Now, the Today View is all of your, everything that you have to do today. So, for example, it says that this is Wednesday, September the 18th, iOS 7 will actually be coming out in a few hours, I believe. But I just want to get these 2 videos done before it comes out because I really don't want this firmware. It's not very good in my opinion, and I'll get to why in a moment. But we have my calendar appointments, we have stocks, we have the weather. It is currently 59 degrees with a high of 70. I don't know when it's going to reach that high or if it will reach that high, but 70 degrees, pretty good weather. And it'll even tell you a little bit about tomorrow. So, for example, it says there are 3 events scheduled. The first starts at 10 a.m. And I also have an alarm set for 9 a.m. So that is pretty much the new notification center. And of course, it is also translucent to match the aesthetic appearance of iOS 7. Next, let's go into Control Center. Control Center is really nice. I really like this. So it is basically a way to, do a whole bunch of things right wherever you are. So it's sort of, if I could compare it to anything, I'd say maybe a bit like, well, 2 things really. The what do they call that? The notification shade toggles they had of an Android, whatever those are called. That and SB settings on your jailbroken iDevice, where you could like swipe across the status bar, and you could have your brightness, your Wi-Fi, your airplane mode, all of those things. So let's bring up Control Center. We have. Again, we have Bluetooth, we have Do Not Disturb, we have Rotation Lock, and, you can adjust your brightness, which is kind of cool. If I can show you that. As you can see, I'm making it a bit brighter, a bit darker. I'm probably going to put it down a bit more so that I can conserve battery. We have music, except that doesn't seem to work for some reason. I don't know if it's because I have it on airplane mode or what, but the music toggles don't seem to work unless you're in the music app. AirDrop, which if you're familiar with what it is on OS 10, actually I'll show you since I'm on OS 10 right now. So you you go to Finder, and you go to AirDrop. And basically, if I want to send a photo, I can send that from my computer to my iDevice now. Before, it used to just be only computer, OS X computer to OS X computer. So yeah, it's, you know, pretty good, and actually that's not necessarily, entirely true, because, that's not going to be possible till Mavericks. When iOS 7 first launches, it will only support other iOS devices. So, for example, I could send this to maybe my mom's iPad, or, you know, maybe my friend's, you know, iPhone, or something like that. I don't know. But, you know, I could send a document, or, you know, a photo, or an internet thing. I don't know. We also have Flash, which turns on the LED of your thing. I kind of wish it would maybe lower down the brightness when it did that, so that, you know, it would conserve a bit more battery, because usually when I have the flash on, it does tend to conserve some battery. And I just realized I had the huge mouse over the AirPlay thing. We also have a few toggles, like the clock app, the calculator app, and the camera app. Let's go into the camera app first of all. So as we can see, this is the new and improved camera app. You can zoom in and out just like normal. And a feature no one seems to talk about is you can hold it down. You can hold this down and it'll actually take multiple photos. Definitely not as good as on the iPhone 5S, but, you know, it's still pretty good. And, you know, I can even do a tunnel effect. Whee! But yeah. We can also swipe left and right to do video, which is pretty much unchanged, except there's a minor feature I'll get into in a moment. Oh, actually, no. I will get into this now. This is kind of a major feature for me. I can now zoom in video, which is something I've been waiting for some time now, and I've really wanted this for some time. And it now works. So I can also, you know, the zoom in doesn't actually work over front facing. So as you can see, I'm trying to pinch to zoom, and it's not actually working. And also, wow, I'm just realizing how much better this camera on my front facing thing is than this thing. For example, it doesn't show everything with like a weird white, like, you know, makes me look like Casper or something. Another thing to notice is photo filters. This is a new feature, and basically it allows you to have full photo filters. So, for example, here's a black and white filter. Here's, trying to think. Here's something that says Chrome, but it doesn't really. Well, actually, no, it kind of does do something. It makes it look a bit maybe more old-fashioned, I'd say. But we can switch to square mode, or I guess most people are kind of calling it Instagram mode, and panorama mode, which was pretty terrible to begin with, and now is kind of worse. So, well, not really worse, but, you know, it's just not very good, to be honest. So, now let's go into the home screen. There are a few different things here. Actually, let's go into Siri, first of all, before we forget about her. Or him, actually. That's the first thing. Siri now has a different voice. So I can say, "Hello, Siri."
Hi.
What is the weather in Ontario, Canada?
Okay, here's the weather for Ottawa, Canada between today and Monday.
Oh, I know why. I'm terrible with Canadian geography. I thought that Ontario was a city at first, but then I realized it was just a province. Whatever, it's still in Canada, and it's 61 degrees, and from what I can tell about Canadian geography, it's not too far off. Let's see. There's also, of course, this, which was always here. You know, she can I believe there's a new Q&A section. So for example, here's the sample question. How many calories are in a bagel?
Let me check that. The answer is about 207 dietary calories.
207, I guess, I don't know, what is it, like, you're supposed to have, like, something like 2,000 calories a day, so I guess it's not the most unhealthy thing in the world. I mean, you know, I'm sure there are things that are probably less healthy, and now I am saying that as an excuse so that I can eat bagels. Whatever. Another really nice thing is she can control your settings. So, for example, turn on my Bluetooth. Actually, thinking about it,
Okay, I turned on Bluetooth.
Okay, and you can also turn it off and go into the settings menu right from Siri. And, you know, you can do a few other things. Invert my colors.
I'm not sure I understand.
Oh, I guess you can't do that. Turn on voiceover.
Okay, I turned on voiceover.
And as you can see, I now have voiceover. Wait, do I? Yes, I do.
Newsful.
I'm going to turn that off because I don't want
Access invert
voice.
colors. Button.
Oh.
News folder.
Yes, voiceover was always kind of a pain in the butt. Also, I just realized it inverted the colors on my screen, but not an AirPlay server. Speaking of settings, let's go into that. Because there are a few different settings for Siri. So let's go into Siri real quick. And as you can see, we now have male and female. So here's the female voice. What is the time in Sacramento, California?
In Sacramento, California, it's 9:01 a.m.
But, yeah. So, Siri is definitely different. And, you know, if you've heard, even the female voice is a bit improved. So, for example, hello, Siri. See if I can get it close to the microphone.
Hello, Logan.
Hello, alright. Okay, Glass.
Very funny, Logan. I mean, not funny, haha, but funny.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal. This is my favorite.
I'm sorry, Logan. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Are you happy now?
Are you happy now?
Oh, that's my favorite. But yeah. So, also, with this new flat design, as you can see, first of all, we've had an overabundance of translucency with, you know, the notification center, and the dock is even more transparent than it was, the control center, and we've also had a new UI as far as apps go. So, for example, here's weather. I'm going to quit out of that before it tells my location, but, you know, it's a bit, you know, live, like when there's a thunderstorm, there's some live things happening, and, you know, you can also pinch out to get an overview of all your cities, which is nice. Stocks, it's stocks, it works the same. You can even do your sideways view, and all that works pretty much as it should. Newsstand, which can now go in a folder and looks a bit more flat and everything. And also, I should probably go into the folders, because you can now page through folders. And not only that, you can have, well, not an infinite amount of folders, as Apple says. Apple claims to have an infinite amount of folders. There's a lot that you can put in here, but the limit is actually 15 pages. Which I think has to do with the fact that, you know, you can't put these dots here, but personally, I don't even use the dots anyway. You may as well just get rid of the dots and have an unlimited amount of pages, but, you know, I'm not griping too much. 15 pages is still a lot. And, you know, considering you have, what is it, like 12 or 15 pages of apps already, you can have, you know, thousands of apps, or, you know, maybe thousands of whatever apps on your iPod. You know, probably at this point as much as your storage will allow. Internet, let's go into Safari. And here is the new Safari homepage. We can go to different sites like Apple. Let's go to apple.com. And of course we can turn that into landscape. Now we also have a new full screen mode. So let's maybe go into the iPhone 5S. Because that's exciting, isn't it? And as you can see, here is the new full screen mode in action, except it doesn't seem to really be working all that well. Maybe it's just not working all that great with Apple, but trust me, you can get a full screen mode. And it works a bit like Chrome. There's also now an Omnibar. So let's go to, I don't know, YouTube. Huh. Oh, yeah, that's great. It just opens up my YouTube app. That's great. I don't know what the thing was, but... Huh? Did I spell it wrong? Probably. Whatever, you get the idea. Also, you can now have infinite amount of tabs. So, you know, I can keep on... Well, not... Oh, no, not private. Here we are. We can keep on, you know, adding tabs to our leisure. As far as I can tell, there's no kind of limit as far as you can do. You know, you can have an infinite amount of tabs. No one has seemed to find a limit yet. So, you know, I can have all of these tabs. And also iCloud tabs has moved to here. Which confused me at first because, you know, I just got this MacBook Pro and I was wondering where iCloud tabs were and if you could even do iCloud tabs on an iPod. And then, you know, I saw a video saying, oh, it's in the bookmarks, and then I was looking through tabs and I found it. Okay, but, you know, enough of my, you know, horror stories. Let's go into some shopping. Here's the App Store. Not much has changed, really, except a new feature. Let's go into Settings. Actually, I guess some apps have been just updated. Pandora has been updated, and the Apple Store has been updated, which is nice. A new feature, if we go into Settings, you'll see that apps can now be updated automatically, and you can opt out of this, by the way. Also, speaking of opting out of things, you can opt out of certain things in the Today view. I forgot to mention that. But, let's go... Where is it? Filling in time, filling in time. This is the song I sing when I'm filling in time. Wow, this thing is really slowing down. But, you know, you can have things download in the background. For example, music, apps, and your updates. I don't know what half of those things are. Apps and music. I don't know if it'll, like, download... iCloud! That's what it is! I just realized what they were talking about now, and, you know, it does kind of work. So let's go to Near Me. I think these things will be far enough away that they, will... Yeah, these are all in Lebanon, which is, you know, a bit further away from where I live. But, you know, we have, like, the Lebanon Daily News, Lebanon County Emergency Radio. I don't even know what that is. Well, I know it's an emergency radio, but I don't know where they broadcast. What am I thinking? Of course, I know where they broadcast. It's in Lebanon. Lebanon Online, WGAL News. That's an NBC client. ABC 27 News. You know, you get the idea. Actually, the Apple Store, that looks like it was just recently updated. And, yep, it is definitely very white. We also have the iTunes Store. Not much has really changed there. And that's pretty much it. Now let's go into some things. Of course, we have the camera again, and we videos. I'm not going to go into that. They haven't really changed much, and that's about it. Actually, yeah. So SMS works pretty well. Quit out of that. Quit out of that. I don't want people seeing my friends who may or may not want to be seen. And Game Center. Tim Cook actually did a joke back in WWDC about they ran out of green felt, so they came up with this. Yes. So as you can see, it now has this sort of whimsical look, if you will. Sort of the same look we've always had with iOS 7, really. Contacts. You can look at your contacts. Oh, I just hope I didn't show any of my contacts. I was just thinking about that. Yeah, I'm not going into there. I don't want personal information going out. Jump cut. Sorry, but iOS 7 is a glitchy piece of crap, so it cut out on me when I went into voice memos. So let's not go into voice memos. I can basically describe it for you. It's sort of like the iOS 6 voice memos, except looks a bit flatter, and yeah, now has a different UI. Wow, that was informative. Anyway, reminders. You can look at your reminders. They haven't really changed that much, except giving it a more flatter UI. Maps, they haven't really changed it except giving it a more flatter UI, which is actually a problem. Because, well, Apple Maps is a, glitchy piece of crap. Actually, this looks a bit different. Yeah. Let's go into hybrid. Wow, now it'll take you to the wrong place at the wrong time. And all of those things that Apple Maps does that nobody likes. And yet, people are all raving about Mavericks. Why? Because it has Apple Maps! Oh my goodness, what the heck is wrong with this world? You didn't like it in iOS 6, why are you going to like it in Mavericks? Calendar, it's the same, just a flatter UI. Actually I may as well show that flatter UI, now that I've talked about it. Oh, I'm sorry, are these notes? Did I go into notes or calendar? Oh, I went into notes. Well, they look so similar. This looks like the calendar app now. These are like some terminal commands that I wrote on my Mac and, it's transferred through iCloud. So, yeah, that was definitely fun. I'll have to do that video soon. It's pretty good. There are some interesting terminal commands you can get in the Macintosh, but as you can see, it's pretty much the same, just a flatter UI. Clock, it's the same, but a flatter UI. I'm noticing a pattern going on. Calculator, same thing, flat UI. We get it now. Calendar, flatter UI. Settings, flatter UI. Oh, music. Yes, they actually did something new with that, and not just a flatter UI. First of all, they changed cover flow, so it's now a bit better. So, I can, it kind of, I don't know how to really describe it. It kind of looks a bit like Windows Mobile, but not really. I don't know how to really describe it. But as you can see, I can go landscape, and I can zoom in. If I want to play some Rush, maybe some Free Will. Why am I trying to turn that up? I think I want that paused. I think I want that turned down, don't I, for copyright reasons? You can also fast forward and rewind in landscape mode, which you couldn't before. This is the new music interface, flatter UI, all of this a flatter UI, until iTunes Radio. Now, be honest, I recommend this for no one, because it is pretty much Pandora, except there's no pay-to-view service like we all thought there would be. So, and, that also means that there's now a skip function, like Pandora, except there's no pay-to-use service to get around that. So, for example, let's listen to just classic rock radio so we can get an idea of what it is. Sarah's Smile. I don't know what that is. Sweet Child of Mine. I know what that is. Feeling alright. I've never heard that. We get it. Oh wait, no, I have heard that. What am I thinking? Santana. I always thought it was the Eagles. Whatever. Let's stop talking about music, because it'll get me off into a tangent. Well, not really a tangent, but you know what I mean. So, yeah, iTunes Radio, it's sort of like Pandora, except it's freer, and you can buy songs directly from iTunes, which is a nice feature, but, nothing I would use iTunes Radio for. And nothing I would upgrade iOS 7 for. And, anyway, so this is part 1. Stay tuned for part 2, where we talk a little bit more about iOS 7 and what it can do.